520 seismic tremors have been recorded since the 5.1 magnitude earthquake occurred on Wednesday. Seismologists say aftershocks may continue in the coming days, though confirmed the most powerful one has passed. After the adoption of the law on the theatre, the actors say they will not surrender and will use any means with the institutions that are in defence of the Constitution, and if these meetings fail, the artists will continue to protest. Following the elections held by the Assembly of Albania's Honorary Consuls Association, the institution will now be led by Mr. Nsula alongside Mr. Ylli Ndroqi, who was elected as president of the association. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 6th of July 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from around the country translated into English. A 4.3 magnitude earthquake has returned panic to citizens. The epicentre was again in Ylli, while the tremors were felt in Durrës, Fushkruja and Tirana. Since Wednesday, when a 5.1 magnitude earthquake occurred, the Institute of Geosciences has recorded about 520 aftershocks. Experts say the earthquake has passed, but tremors may continue in the coming days. So how should we act in the case of an earthquake? Well, the advice of seismologists is that maintaining calm ranks as the top priority. Albania is a country with high seismic activity and experts consider such earthquakes as normal. According to the map made available by the Institute of Geosciences, Peshkopia, Pogradec, Shkodra, Firi and Elbasan are among the cities that have the highest seismic activity in our country. The chair of the Democratic Party, Ylli Basha, has declared the vote on the law for the demolition and construction of a new national theatre, which occurred yesterday in the Assembly, as a vote to make theft legal. As such, the opposition leader called on the president not to decree the law. Until yesterday, crime and corruption were illegal. However, today, crime and corruption becomes the law of this country thanks to the vote of 75 thieves and the chief of these thieves, Edi Rama. We urge the president not to decree the law on theft. Edi Rama's only strength is in difference and in action, said Ylli Basha. Basha issued a direct call for ambassadors accredited in Tirana. I call on the ambassadors of our partner countries, as here you have a crime of money laundering, a project. Here you have a crime that openly violates the rule of law. Here you have an act that is in conflict with the obligations of the European integration process. Here you have a whole school of big fish. If you do not speak up today, no one will trust you when you talk tomorrow, warned Ylli Basha. Meanwhile, Basha talked about the opposition action, considering the burning of mandates as an easy option. Be assured that we are determined to pursue all the options step by step. Burning mandates may be the easiest option in confronting and liberating Parliament. Albania's liberation from crime is our target, and we will achieve it together with all citizens, said Ylli Basha. The opposition, Basha said, will be on the side of the artists and, according to him, will face the streets and squares to demand the theatre remains and to liberate what he calls a parliament occupied by a criminal thief. One day after the adoption of the draft law that paves the way for the demolition of the National Theatre building, the artists have declared their anger at the majority's behaviour towards them. They are determined not to give up and will use all the ways possible to lead to the withdrawal of this decision. The only hope for artists comes from the President of the Republic, Ylli, and the Diaspora Minister, Pandeli Maiko, who left Parliament without giving a vote. Asked whether the actors will take part in the negotiation commission, Neritan Lichai said that it looks as if it is the government's plan to include even the artists in this issue. After the Parliament's decision late on Thursday, the law on the theatre will pass for presidential decree. But even if Ylli does not give the okay, the law returns to the committee and then again to a plenary session where it will enter into force immediately. From the 1st of January next year, the law which will forbid gambling and betting transactions occurring within Tirana's city limits will be applied, pushing such activities into the peripheries. At the next meeting, the head of the Economy Commission, Erion Brace, said firmly that further postponements will not be tolerated. He has also proposed raising tax levels for gambling and betting. During discussions, of fiscal changes proposed by the government, Erion asked Minister Ahmed Tai to submit the amendments to the Assembly in autumn and pass the fiscal package for next year. Beyond the proposals made by the government to facilitate the agro-tourism scheme, the majority MPs demanded that VAT be 6% for alcoholic beverages used for these structures. But for the Minister, Ahmed Tai, this is not controllable. The Commission also passed a supplement which provides for zero profit tax in case of the change of ownership of agricultural land within the family. The Commission approved the fiscal changes with only the majority's vote, while parliamentary approval is expected from the session to be held on Monday. Some of the changes were the increase in the verge of businesses that will pay tax profit of 5% to 14 million, VAT and tax reduction for agro-tourism, and the reduction of tax on socially owned companies. The Association of Honorary Consuls in Albania discussed their strategy for the next 2 years in order to achieve the main objectives of the association. In particular, they are focusing on strengthening the role of honorary consuls as promoters of economic diplomacy and establishing bridges of cooperation between countries in key areas of development. The discussion focused on issues of cooperation for economy, diplomacy and tourism, as well as areas of interest for the work of honorary consuls and the states that they represent. 4 years since its founding, the Association of Honorary Consuls committed itself to becoming promoters of creating a new status and role for the highest members and authorities in the country. After the latest elections held by its assembly, the Association of Honorary Consuls will be led by Mr. Gendian Sula, who will continue to coordinate work with Albania and international authorities. Tasks and responsibilities include lobbying for issues of interest to Albania and empowering the role of honorary consuls in Albania. During this activity, Mr. Ylli Ndroqi was elected President of the Association of Honorary Consuls of Albania, assessed positively by members of the association in recognition of 4 years' contribution to its management and the important steps that it has taken during this time. During his speech, Mr. Ndroqi promised that with his new position holding a 6-year mandate, the active contribution to the development of the association and the fulfilment of its objectives will continue. The members engaged in the continuation of work in coordination with the Albanian authorities and foreign institutions in lobbying for issues of interest to Albania with the states that honorary consuls represent, as well as the further economic development of diplomacy. Prime Minister Edi Rama spoke of the figures which confirm that new jobs have been added in Albania. Referring to our tax system, name by name, for every employee employed from May to last year to this June, we have 28,324 more formalised employees in the non-agricultural sector. It is also a fact that through the work offices alone, over 14,000 individuals have been employed during the past 6 months, explained Edi Rama. According to the Prime Minister, June is the most successful month in terms of employment. Only through the employment offices, 14,593 people were employed in this 6-month period. This is a fact. Those who want to verify these figures, just look at the Social Security Register, added Edi Rama. But he continued to reiterate that the market needs qualified people. The results were attributed to the job officers, while for some regional directorates there was also criticism and demands for increased performance. Regional officers should be more cooperative, more involved, more transparent with local officers for the performance of joint work, said the Prime Minister. At the end of his speech, Prime Minister Edi Rama outlined the need to create a website where citizens will have the opportunity to get acquainted with vacancies. Cougar Air Force helicopters have been equipped with new technology for locating and extinguishing fires on difficult terrain. For the introduction of the new equipment, a demonstration was carried out at Farka Lake, closely observed by Defence Minister Olta Jachka, who talked about the advantages of utilising the new equipment. From today, the infrastructure of the armed forces has been improved after equipping helicopters with special buckets, which have a capacity of 2,500 litres of water. This capacity is in fact 12 times bigger than in the past. Previously, our capacity was lacking. We had subcontracted private companies to address the problem of extinguishing fires, said Olta Jachka. Further, Minister Jachka requested greater commitment from the local government, starting with the municipal budget, which should provide funds for civil emergencies. Few out of the 61 municipalities in the territory's ranks have made available the 3% of their annual budget for emergencies as is required by law, said Ndroqi. The prefects praised the passage of civil emergencies under the Ministry of Defence's dependence on the specifics of our country, as well as on the capacities provided by the armed forces. Minister Ndroqi described the new civil emergency law as a genuine legal, administrative, operational and structural reform. We deemed it necessary, first of all, to reconfigure the civil emergency system by adapting their management to the new structure and role within the Ministry of Defence. We have long been working on the law, with a draft expected to be completed this summer in preparation for consultation with you, the local government, interest groups and also local and foreign experts, said Ndroqi. The members of the Security Commission then evaluated not only the newly equipped helicopters but also the new approach of the Ministry of Defence in terms of emergencies. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.